I like it. I like it a lot. Hey everyone, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. Love me, I know you do. Anyway. Impromptu live stream because of Warhammer Fest, and I had to give my initial reaction to everything that is going on. So we are on the Warhammer community page, so I am kind of cheating just using their webpage and whatever. Instead of going through all of the thousands of pictures that everybody has posted, I'm just going to stick to the Warhammer community sections. I think it's easier. Okay, so. Warhammer Fest was insane. And they describe it, they have been described, well, they're self-described as the greatest hobby festival ever. And that's a little, I completely agree because I really love this hobby. Ow, I just banged my knee. Anyway. So, I'm going to let Nooble read the recap and interrupt him like I always do to go over each and every single thing that we have in this recap and give my 2 cents on it as we go.
So go ahead and start it.
Yep.
The new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
I thought it was going to die. I'm not going to lie. I really thought Age of Sigmar was going to be replaced again by fantasy. Yeah, I was not expecting that.
The Night Haunt, an army of hateful, sinister specters.
Ooh, spooky, scary skeletons. You know somebody's going to be playing that during this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Age of Sigmar's lore is always so, like, crazy. Because they got I don't know how the humans are alive in Age of Sigmar. Like, I know that there's this whole craziness and actual lore explanation of it, but when I constantly look at all of the other races that exist on this one planet, I can't help but feel like, how the hell are basic humans alive? Like, how did they evolve and survive all of this? But it's probably something ridiculous like, because magic. Ooh. Anyway.
The Sarcastic... wow, that is a very complicated word to pronounce. The Sacrosanct Chamber opening, revealing Stormcast wizards.
Neat. I honestly, it's Age of Sigmar. It's not something that I'm fully interested in, but maybe I could get into it. I mean, I have Morathi. I have an Age of Sigmar. I have 2 Age of Sigmar models. I have 2. I have more Warhammer Hordes models than I do Age of Sigmar. Just letting you guys know.
Magic gone wild.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop you right there. That is absolutely disgusting. All I can think about is fat neckbeards, like, doing, like... Next one. Next one. Go. Next one.
The first ever official Warhammer podcast.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I thought Warhammer Community's Twitch was that already. So that's cool. I'll definitely be listening to that. I think that's pretty awesome. I'm wondering how they're going to actually do that. Maybe they're going to have actually some of the writers come on, talk about the lore, talk about the tabletop, talk about the hobby in general, talk about the tournament scene. Because there's a lot of other podcasts out there that do all of this. Like, we have Adeptus Podcastus, which I'm a part of, Master of the Forge's podcast, Frontline Gaming's podcast, which is extremely good, especially if you like competitive stuff. So there's all of that. So I wonder where theirs is going to sit. I mean, it's obviously going to be the most listened to, but still, I'm interested. I'm going to listen to it.
A new webcomic.
I know. I'm so happy that she's doing this. I am so happy for her. Or is this the one that ADB did? Oh, I always get those 2 confused. Anyway.
The Hammerhall Herald. You know, your notice board from the Mortal Realms.
Is it bad that I read that as the neckbeard from the Mortal Realms? The Hammer Herald, your neckbeard from the Mortal Realms.
First in a...
Oop, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just kidding. Okay. The first in a new generation of Sisters of Battle.
Yes, and we're gonna get to, like, the controversy around that in a little bit. Like, this is gonna be a long stream, so, well, probably like an hour. But this is going to be a pretty long stream, and we're definitely going to talk about that new Sister of Battle design and why everybody is super butthurt about it.
Secondly, we found that place. Blood Bowl's latest team and a host of star players.
Neat. I know a certain John that's really excited about that. And maybe Pablo. I know Pablo likes Blood Bowl.
Brian Blessed as Godric Gurnison.
Do what now?
Brian Blessed as Godric Gurnison, a Slayer from the Godric and Felix series. It's Warhammer Fantasy.
Neat. I'm sorry, I don't follow Warhammer Fantasy. You know, Michael is probably, like, ripping out all of his hair because of this, like, crazy amount of Age of Sigmar and fantasy craziness that's happening. I'm sitting here like, cool beans.
Cool. We found my place. Adeptus Titanicus unveiled.
Yeah, I talked about this yesterday in my live stream because I was super excited about this. A Titanicus, and it looks outrageously good. In fact, I wonder if anybody... Like, I'm going to talk about this in just a second, so I'm super excited about that one because chicks dig giant robots. Just saying.
Next one?
Yep, massive Necron constructs. Neat.
Yep.
I wonder if they're going to rival Titans. I think that would be pretty interesting if they actually can rival a Scout Titan or something bigger. Like, I think the Tesseract Vault is supposed to rival the Warlord. Not the Warlord, the Warhound, and then this might rival a Reaver, but I doubt it. It's probably just going to be another Warhound killer, which is cool. Like, I'm not going to lie, that's pretty badass, and the model looks insane. It's kind of cool to see the Necrons are finally, you know, going, all right, we got to dig out some of our toys and actually fight with this stuff, and we have to actually, you know, start taking the galaxy seriously because we're kind of getting our butts kicked all over the place. Maybe they could drop some more lore on them and actually correct the War in Heaven, which has like 5 different stories and none of them are consistent, and I kind of hate all of them. I'm not going to lie, the Necrons lore is trashed here. It is probably the worst lore in 40k because of how inconsistent it is, and I really think somebody needs to sit down and rewrite all of it from scratch. And this would be a good time to do it. Just saying. Just saying. Okay.
The Triumph. My apologies.
Go ahead.
The triumphant debut of Vagaroth the Scarred and his mighty draconic mount, Skalak the Skull Host of Khorne.
Well, that sounds unnecessarily metal and brutal, so I'm going to assume it has something to do with the Blood God. Mostly because it has Khorne in its name. But you could just have... You could go without having Khorne in the name, and you just be like, yeah, that's Khorne. An Imperial armor book using the talons of the Emperor in Warhammer 40k. Why do I have this? You know, I have a theory. And here's the theory. One day, the GW design team was watching some of my older videos. I don't know why. Maybe they were just like, hey, this chick seems pretty cool. Let's watch her. Oh, wow, this is terrible. Let's keep watching. Hey, should we mess with her? Yeah, we totally should. You know what we should do? We should release the Custodian Codex, hype her up for it, and then just make it garbage. And then you just see the one guy in the design team. Why are we doing this? Think about how funny it would be. All right. And they released the Adeptus Custodians because they had nothing else to release at that exact moment. And then since then, they've been trying to make it up to me. It's just like, look, Alexis, it's not that bad. Like, you get the Forge World stuff. Why isn't it in this book? We'll give it to you for free. Is that okay? And I'm just sitting here like, okay, well, what about the sisters? Give us like a month. We got this. And they run into the back and like grab a bunch of Sisters of Silence. And they're just like, yeah, we did it. And I'm just sitting here like, where are the rules for this, 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 and this? Damn it! You're the only person paying attention to the Sisters of Silence. No one else is. Anyway. My long-winded theory.
My apologies. Go on.
No, that was it. Go for it.
Okay. Anacar Scoria and Genetia Kroll models.
I'm really excited about both of them. We have a Sister of Silence and a Tech Scorpion. Like, that's the easiest way of saying it. We have Beltarvok on steroids. The new Dreadnought Drop Pod. This is kind of interesting. I was kind of hoping that it would come to GW, but it's a Forge World thing, so that's fine. That's fine. And a preview of the 8th edition campaign. The 8th. You know what? I tried. Preview of the 8th campaign book of the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness. There we go. And some new Middle-earth models. Like Middle-earth, really? Like Hobbit out of nowhere? That's cool. Also, they're going back to calling it Middle-earth. So I think that's kind of cool. Okay. So, let's actually get down and take a look at some of these models. First off, they're starting with the Middle-earth models. I honestly think they're really generic looking, kind of like D&D miniatures, so I'm whatever about them. Yeah, I'm whatever about them. Now, these guys look kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, they kind of look like cat people. Like, this guy is just screaming meowsers at you. Some of the concept art pieces for the new models coming out look really cool. Like, these two look pretty badass. I really like them. I don't know much about Lord of the Rings, so I'm not going to know this guy's name at all. So my apologies. We move on to this guy riding a giant bird dog thing that looks like it just belongs in the Kroot army versus having a custodian riding it. He's got a stick. He looks kind of cool. Kind of looks like he's doing the thriller, you know, just walking by. Yeah. Looks pretty neat. Armor looks ridiculous. They don't look comfortable holding those weapons at all. See, guys, this is much more comfortable. That looks silly, I'm not gonna lie. You see, this is why I can't get into Age of Sigmar. Like, their faces just look stupid. And this is just me, okay? This is just me. If you like Age of Sigmar, follow your heart. You do you. But the Stormcast Eternals look silly. That's all I'm going to say. They look like something out of League of Legends, and I'm sorry, it just looks bad to me. On the other hand, this chick actually looks kind of cool. Like, I would probably get this chick. I think they look really good without helmets, which is like the complete opposite of how I feel about 40k. I feel like everything needs a helmet on because, well, I also think some of the players need some helmets. But that's just me. Anyway, big giant spooky dragon. Looks pretty neat. What is this thing, actually? The Khorne Lord on Dragon is the biggest Warhammer Age of Sigmar kit ever. I actually thought it was something out of Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry. It kind of looks cornate. It doesn't really look cornate. Kind of looks like a pretty generic dragon to me. It's got like some weird guy on top of it. I mean, replace that with like a Space Marine and I think it would be cool, but yeah. All right. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is like my first time actually looking at these models in depth on the community page. So, yeah. Okay, so let's take a look of it in person. What? What? What is this? What is this guy down here? That's amazing. Okay, so pretty cool. Really generic looking. If you like Age of Sigmar, it's probably awesome, but to me, it's kind of meh. Alright, and now we got this thing. Meanwhile, in the 40k Millennium, Forge-World range of sinister Necron Canaptic constructs. Okay, look, Necrons, you need to keep doing stuff like this. This is amazing. I'm not gonna lie, this is cool. This is like some of the coolest things that I have seen Necrons ever do. This is definitely not Terminator-esque, it is, but it's definitely not inspired strictly from that. This looks amazing, and I really, really like this. Necrons need to do more of this and less of these stupid Terminator robots. These look cool, and I really like them. Also, that guy's got a heavy bolter underneath him. Or is that a rotor cannon? Taking a look. It's got a big giant doomsday weapon on it. I'm just going to refer to every Necron weapon as a doomsday weapon because that's kind of how they're written in the lore, and it's really foolish. Really silly. Then, as well as models, Forge-World has been attempting new rules for Warhammer 40k, announced a brand new Imperial Armor book looking at the chosen children of the Master of Mankind himself, the Talons of the Emperor. Hey, look! They're bringing back the Talons! Who called it immediately? Get this stupid pile of garbage book out of here. I want the Talons of the Emperor. I don't want custodians. I don't want banana people. I want the Talons. I know, I'm bitching and moaning about like nothing, but still. With data sheets for using the Forge World Adeptus Custodians and an expanded list for using Grey Knights and rules for using your Sisters of Silence as a standalone army, this book is going to be a treat for Imperial players, except for those looking to actually run them as an army, I'm sure. Ooh. New data sheets such as Contemptor Exemplar, which I'm going to be getting because I really like that Dreadnought. Allows them to be used in 40k. I'm assuming it allows their certain weapon systems to be used in 40k, like the polearm that has a meltagun on it. And the ones that just have that long bolt rifle thing. Anyway, subfaction rules for elite. I'm just gonna... Nope. Subfactions for rules for elite dank warriors. And that's how it's gonna be read now. These are some dank warriors. Oh, good. You can bring this over to some very, very, very phallic looking... I'm gonna stop with that joke right now. Alright, let's take a look at this. New background and rules for the entire existing range of Forge World Sisters of Silence. Not adding anything new to them, just their existing shit. So we'll get the ones with 2 pistols. Yay. Allowing them to be used in Warhammer 40,000. Oh boy, they're including 1 other unit of sisters. Yes. And 1 vehicle. Ah, I'm so blessed. Not including like a sacred banner or things like that to buff the sisters or anything, but you know what? I'll take Sisters of Battle over Sisters of Silence. I'm okay with that. Subfaction rules for Covenant of Crone, allowing the Sisters of Silence to be used as an elite army in the game. New data sheets. Okay, so we get like 3 new things. Neat. And the Grey Knights. Which I don't think anybody at this current moment is playing. Yeah. Okay, Forge World is also revealing a return of the fan favorite kit, the Dreadnought Drop Pod. I don't think anybody actually cared about this kit. I'm going to be dead serious with this. I don't think anybody actually bought this kit. They just took a drop pod, didn't put anything inside it, and said it was a Dreadnought Drop Pod. Pretty sure that's what everybody did. But, you know, there were some people who actually bought the Dreadnought drop pod. I think I've seen, like, one real one and about 30 ChinaCast ones. This is more than just a retool of the old kits, as well as a functioning, more detailed in design, yada, 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 yada. I can now carry a Contemptor Dreadnought, so your Dreadnought can appear 9 inches away and fail its charge and die next turn. Isn't it useful? I wish they made drop pods good. Here's what I want for drop pods. This would make them good, and I really think this would be the best thing that they can do. If, as you put them down, you roll the d6 and you can move that much closer to the enemy. This way, it can resemble how it used to be, where you took the dangerous hit against trying to hit next to units, and you would scatter until you got to a spot that you can land. Drop pods are designed for this kind of thing, so reducing the distance would be really useful and let the people inside actually be efficient instead of just not using drop pods, which I have, I think, 4 drop pods in a box somewhere that I won't use this edition because I get the same movement out of a drop pod that I do from a Rhino, so why take the drop pod? When a drop pod is completely immobile, can't score anything, and can't do anything. Yeah. Huh. Now we go to the spooky, scary scorpion. So, Nooble, please read this really quickly.
Alrighty. First unpainted at the back, my apologies. First seen unpainted back at the Horus Heresy and Necromunda Weekender, we've finally seen Anukkar Scoria in all his horrifying glory. This guy makes your average tech priest look frankly conservative in their choice of bionics. A gaunt, skittering mechanical tyrant who looks like a cross between a Defiler, an Anukkar Dunewalker, and an ancient Magus. Anukkar Scoria is one of the first ever models exploring the sinister dark mechanicum, and is a treat of the 4 collectors who've been waiting for this sinister organization to be brought to light.
I'm not gonna lie. Spooky Scary Scorpion right here is probably the coolest thing ever, but I can't help but feel like I want to replace his face with The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and make him the Scorpion King. Like, that is my first thing I want to do. I also find it really funny that they chose the word conservative for that. I just want to point that out. Anyway, blood for the blood god. Nah, you want to be in... I'm not really cornate. I like my Slanesh, thank you. I mean Imperium. I am a loyal subject of the Imperium. But we do get some cool Sisters of Silence models. We get one of them. I mean, the rest of them, they couldn't speak up, so the design team didn't think that they wanted to come into the actual game. So, let's take a look at this new Sister of Silence and some quick lore about her. This is a woman that actually appears in one of my favorite books, Master of Mankind. She is in the War of the Webway. So, it is really cool to see her actually on the field of battle. So, let's hear what they have to say about her.
Just go ahead and read what they have for the model?
Yep.
Okay. With villains like Anukkar Scoria around, you'll need some heroes. A word which, in this instance, means a horrifying anti-psychic avenger with slash flawless commander whose very presence is terrifying to behold. Meet Genestealer Kroll, commander of the Silent Sisterhood and one of the greatest champions of the Talons of the Emperor, if not the Imperium itself.
Now, I just want to point out something to everybody, and this is going to trigger some people. Her boobs are slightly bigger than the average Sister of Silence. Just saying. Just saying. No, but this character is quite amazing, and you will see lore for this character on my channel in the near future. I think she's just way too cool to not talk about. Her power armor is on point. Her sword is on point. Her model looks amazing. I really like the way she looks. And to be honest, I plan to get this model. I mean, yes, it does kind of just look like a generic Sister of Silence with a sword in one hand. But at the same time, I really want this model because it's a character that I personally love from one of my favorite books of 40K. One of my favorite books from all of Warhammer. And she also looks awesome. I'd probably do her with the face grill on, I'm not gonna lie. I really like the face grill. Yeah. Next thing we have is the love child between a chimera and a predator. This is why you don't let your machines breed alone. Tisk tisk. And Laszlo, a lot of armored support, like the new vehicle that's crosses a predator with an armored transport. This thing is silly, awesome, looks steampunk, and I absolutely love it. Look at this thing. This thing is so cute. Why won't its picture load? Okay, whatever. Whatever. Will this one's load? Yes. Shush, phone. Shut up. No one loves you. Anyway. Looking at this, it's pretty much a predator that has troop transport more than likely. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I like it. I like it. It is definitely very 40K-esque, very boxy, very nice. I like it. Next up, we have Alfarius and Omegon. I mean, some, yeah. Yeah. I hate that. I hate the meme, personally. I really hate the meme. But I respect Games Workshop enough that they are aware of the memes themselves and make fun of it as well. So, kind of cool. Kind of cool to see these guys on the field. So, neat. Then we have this big spook nasty. I like this guy. We got a peek at the Mechanicum Knight Acastus. Weird name. First preview at the Warhammer Horse, at the Horse Heresy and Necromunda Weekender. This Titanic Knight answers the question, what if you combine the yada 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 with another blah 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 words that we made up and gave it techno weapons? Well, this is what you get. This is probably what happens to kids when they have a pop-up doll and watch Chucky. You get shit like this. This thing is absolutely horrifying looking. I like it. I really like it. Alright. Alright, that's pretty cool. It's a knight. It's a big knight. It's a good knight. Alright, then we got the crazy land speeder, which apparently has a ton of weaponry. And I mean a ton. It's crazy weapons. Like, oh, what is the weapon called? What is the weapon that I can never remember the name of from Horus Heresy? It's not Phosphex. It's not Rad.
Destructor?
No, what is the third weapon? The Praetor just had it. Oh my god, why can I never remember the name of this weapon? Like, I had the same problem when I watched a Tech Marine walk by with one. Oh, why can I never remember this weapon?
What does it do?
It does an extra point of damage. It's kind of weak. Well, from what we can see, we have Plasma Cannon, Flamethrower, Missile Launcher, Heavy Bolter, and this Volkite. Thank you, chat. I love you. The Volkite weapons. Oh my god, I can never remember what they're called. If I played Mechanicum, I would remember these in a heartbeat. So, pretty neat. It's also got a Hunter Killer Missile that's going to fire directly into this guy's foot and kill them. Oh, no, that's a multi-melta. Damn, that thing has a lot of weapons. Okay. Then we got new stuff for the Horus Heresy. All of no one's favorite chapters, like the White Scars, which nobody cares about at all. I don't know why they waited this long to get them. But people do care about the Blood Angels, and Blood Angels are awesome. Everybody knows the Blood Angels are cool. I mean, look at that. That is amazing. Spartan with a sick-ass paint job? Thank you. I mean, what the hell do the friggin' White Scars have? A tricycle? Tricycle with a goddamn rocket on it? Probably the dumbest thing that they have. And now we move on to Titanicus, and this is probably the funniest thing that GW has ever done. The cardboard cutout of a Titan, where you get to put your face in the middle. and maybe the best model ever, but it does give us a good size comparison of how big the actual knights are in the tabletop of Titanicus. They are about the size of infantry. So people who want to play a funny Mechanicus army could use these guys as Qatari Rangers. Okay? Hear me out on this. You could have the funniest army in all of 40k. Like, oh man, you just killed like 30 knights. Specialist games, Blood Bowl, got cool stuff. Wow, that looks atrocious. I mean, doesn't that look really cool? Yeah. Hey, look, they got Rain from Mortal Kombat to appear. And Melina. Let's see what other characters they got. They got this chick. That's cool. You got Sindel from Mortal Kombat. You got I don't know what's going on here. Okay. And you got these two doofuses. Alright, cool. These guys are partying. They look like they're enjoying themselves. Probably watching themselves some Blood Bowl. That's cool. And you got the Space Marines. Like, I knew Space Marines were in this. They had to make their appearance somewhere. It's like the Ultramarine Honor Guards. Hey, this guy brought a knife. Like, he's smart. Like, you guys dumbasses. They're going to be punching us and shit. Moving on. We got stadiums and whatever. Kind of cool. Not really my thing. Necromunda stuff coming up. So, specialist games. We got some... I think this is Necromunda, right? Yep, Necromunda. Giant rat creatures. Nido Mosquito. More neat stuff. I've actually been looking more and more into Necromunda, and I'm starting to bite, and I kind of like it. I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie. I think the girls look stupid. I'm not gonna lie about that. I think these guys look stupid. I think this guy looks kind of like out of Mad Max. Like, this guy's gonna climb in a car and use a freaking stick bomb to throw at... Yeah. You got a crazy ass crocodile. That's cool. I personally don't like these guys at all. I think they're a little bit too silly. Come back. They have their other tech. They have multi-melter. Jesus. It's kind of crazy. So these are new, like, weapon kits and everything. I really, really like those shields, on the other hand. Like, those shields are hotness. That is pretty nice. That's actually really nice. I like that. This was the gang I was actually interested in. I don't know what they're called, but I think they're pretty cool. They kind of remind me of just, like, your average Joes doing shit. So I kind of fell for them. I like them. I like them. They got their other kits and everything for heavy flamethrowers, power hammers, and all sorts of other things. I got this guy whose leg was having a very bad day. His foot is all rotted. This guy's not having a good day. Hey, this guy's probably just, like, gonna shoot you just because you're better looking than him. Next, we move on to Titanicus. Yep. So, we have heavily detailed models for Titanicus. A lot better than I thought that they were going to be. I really thought they were going to be the same static-looking models that we had back in the 80s. They're not. So, yeah. I kind of like them. And from what I can see, I think they are the two different households. No, not yet. I don't know if they're going to include the Lucius pattern and the Mars pattern for each of the Titans. But it would be cool if they did. Oh, and it looks like these guys are static. Oh, that's not that good. And if these guys are stuck with the same weapons, that's going to be so boring. Oh no, I think they are. They had some nice boards though. The boards are really, really cool. I really like these. I'm assuming you can put cities and everything on top of this and everything, so it'll look really nice. We have the knights. The knights look like they come in their 3 different varieties. So pretty bog standard. The static poses are really throwing me off. Like, I really thought that they would be multi-part plastic kits and actually be able to be bendable and everything. Like, I would love to have my Reaver Titan crushing a knight. Also, there's no Warlord. Warhound. Okay, moving on. We got the Ghoul Army thingy. Looks kind of silly. Looks really silly. Yeah, these just look really silly, I'm not gonna lie. Spooky, scary skeletons. Got some cool cosplayers. Always cool to see cosplayers. I gotta get a better Sororitas armor. Like, I really want to get mine redone and make it a lot nicer, so yeah. Now, we have the Sister of Battle, the one that is causing a lot of controversy because a lot of people are like, oh, the face is so dumb. Yeah. That's how I pretty much see everybody. And they're like, oh, they got rid of the high heels. Sorry to tell you, but that is a heel right there. Yeah, this is still heels. So, let me give my 2 cents on the Sororitas. This is the first model. This model is going to come out before the actual line itself. The actual Sister of Battle line itself. I like it. Alright? And here's why. If you take a look at Celestine without her actual face painted and everything and looking really nice, it does kind of look pretty static and pretty boring. The model itself is the classic pose of a Sister of Battle from the best art imaginable for her. The model itself is heavily detailed, even going into the creases in the clothing up top. The scars on the face actually run into the model itself. And it honestly just looks really good, okay? Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it looks like it has a dude face. Yeah, it looks like something out of He-Man. Well, I'm pretty sure these people are just complaining because they can't actually afford miniatures for themselves, and that's pretty much, they're just the kids that sit in like a Facebook group and just shit talk everything. You know, they're those people. Not the people that actually come to a game store, relax, shoot the shit, and actually play the game itself. But, the face itself, yeah, it could have used work, but let's just keep in mind that this is a flat image of a 3-dimensional model. Those never look that good. This is not an actual model yet. This is the 3D rendition of a model. So the actual model itself is going to look pretty different compared to this. It might be a little bit thinner. It might be a little bit nicer or less detailed, depending on how the sculpt goes. All in all, I think this is a really good model and a really good step for Games Workshop to actually push forward for the Sister of Battle line. They look much better than Space Marines, which in my opinion are cut awfully boring looking. So boring looking. Like Black Templar, those are cool Marines. Dark Angels, cool Marines. But generic Marines like mine, I can't stand looking at them. I think they're boring. That's why I only bring like tanks and Devastators. All in all, I really like the amount of detail on this model. I think it looks really good. They need to drill out that barrel. That's going to bug me. And once it's painted up, like, I never judge an unpainted model. Because a good paint job can make a bad model look really, really, really good. And this model has a level of detail that no other model really has, aside from maybe Celestine herself. And from that, I'm going to say that this is going to be extremely good, and I'm extremely happy for Games Workshop. And then they show her standing next to the model that actually... why is it doing this? Let's just go like this. Let's actually zoom out a little bit more. Showing it next to the artwork that actually inspired this model. You can see some key differences, the tubing being bigger, the pendants being bigger, more pronounced, which is an obvious thing. They can't print that small of detail. A lot of people say this model looks really fat. I disagree. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and zoom back in to 100. And move over. And we have more pictures of the model herself, which are not loading because reasons. Oh yeah, we also have this weird little magic stuff for Age of Sigmar. And I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the dumbest stuff I've ever seen. And it just makes me want to stay out of Age of Sigmar completely. Like, that's pretty cool, I guess. And that's stupid. That's dumb. I'm not gonna lie, that's dumb. This is like what I imagined when somebody did Jaws of the World Wolf. It's like, rah! I forget Pac-Man's coming after you. I see Marathi has balls. Anyway. Moving on, we got more Stormcast stuff. A preview of the actual comic itself. I think it's kind of nice. Probably the most hilarious model ever. Aside from the sassy Nurgling. Yep, that dude. And why is that guy wearing a Nintendo shirt? Ugh. It's like worse than being a neckbeard is being a Nintendo fan. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much everything from Warhammer Fest as that was revealed by Games Workshop's Warhammer community page. So I'm sure that there were questions and everything, and I'm sure Nooble has been grabbing them as we've been going. So let's hear some of them.
Does anyone know why Alexis dislikes fantasy stuff in general?
Oh, I dislike fantasy in general. Mostly because it's boring. Warhammer Fantasy has always been one of those things where it's like, well, because Magic did it. And before anybody rips me apart and says, well, Alexis, you used the Warp did it in 40k. Well, I like sci-fi way more than I like fantasy. Fantasy has never held an interest to me. It's why I don't really like Magic the Gathering. It's why I got out of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just boring to me. Yu-Gi-Oh! Held my interest for a little bit because it had some sci-fi elements, but it was all magic, and I just could not stand it. See, me, I like atomic punk, steampunk. I like things like that. I like sci-fi. I don't really like fantasy. I think it's boring. And yes, I know and am fully aware that Warhammer 40k is sci-fantasy and not sci-fi. But, meh. It's got Melted Maidens, thus it's cool.
Question? Wait, we finally got plastic sisters and people are being salty? Why?
Because neckbeards like to complain about everything. That's really it. Like, you could give these guys a freaking $1,000 and they'd be like, well, I wanted $2,000. Is it bad that I imagined them all as Patrick? I imagine everybody who, like, argues on Facebook groups as Patrick from SpongeBob. It makes it really funny to deal with people.
Next question.
Yep.
EgoqueenAlexis, I think we can all agree the new CEO is awesome at dragging the sunken car out of the swamp, right?
Yes. Oh my god, yes. He's actually... Games Workshop is on point this edition. This new president is amazing. And if I ever meet him, he will be getting a big, gigantic hug. Like, he will get a hug so hard, it'll shatter every single bone in his body. It's not even possible, but it will happen. Okay, next question.
Have you ever thought of starting a mechanics army? Also, the way you pronounce your R's is adorable when your accent comes out.
You should hear the way I pronounce water. Anyway, Mechanicus, no. Victor has Mechanicus. My boyfriend has Mechanicus. And it kind of worked out. It's one of the few armies I don't have. I don't have Mechanicus. I don't have Eldar. And I don't have Tau. I don't have Orks. I don't have any of the Eldars. So I don't have Dukari, Eldari, or Harlequins, or Yanari. I plan to get at least 2,000 points of everything one day. Just saying. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I stick to mostly Imperium.
Should there be anti-Titan artillery?
Storm. What is it? The Storm Sword, or the Shadow Sword?
Then it's the Shadow Sword, the one with the...
Yeah, it's the Shadow Sword that insta-kills Titans.
Yeah.
Point and click and delete Titans. Pew. They already exist. To be honest, I think Titans are pretty weak in current 40k. There are too many points, they don't deal enough damage, and you kind of have to have, like, a rule for Apocalypse games where it's like, don't shoot Titans turn 1, because then the person who goes first will destroy all of the other team's Titans immediately, and just, it's not fun.
You should apply for model design.
There was actually a company basing a model, a third-party company basing a model around my demon.
That would be cool.
I haven't heard from them in a few months, but they did propose the idea to me, and I okayed it. I was like, yes, where do I sign? This is awesome. I would love to play it myself. I'm not sorry about that joke, by the way. Okay, next one.
Should Necrons go for more of a classic horror look?
No, I kind of like their, like, cyberistic, like... They're like cyber bugs. It's kind of cool right now, and I really like their look. I don't like their infantry. I think their infantry needs to change. I think all the Necrons should have, like, 6 to 8 limbs and be crazy looking. I'm so sick of seeing, like, hey, look, it's the Terminator. The Terminator has a Gauss weapon. Woo! Okay, next one.
Alrighty. Is GW going to add the Emperor at the end of Horus Heresy as a playable character?
It is heavily hinted at the Emperor will be on the field of battle. To be honest, he's probably going to have the same stat line as Horus Lupercal and have, like, slightly more buffs and more psychic ability. Like, I know everybody's like, oh, he'll have a stat line of 10s. It's like, no, he got choked out by an orc. Like, come on. Emperor's tough. He's not that tough.
In fairness, wasn't that orc the size of a warlord?
Shush your face. It's still an orc.
Yeah, but it's like a massive orc the size of a warlord battle titan.
No, it wasn't the size of a warlord. It was the size of a warhound.
Oh, okay.
But still, it's just an orc. Like, you had the Emperor and Horus. How did that orc get to you? God. Anyway, next question.
Would drop pods be more useful if they could drop vehicles?
Drop pods would be more useful if they had a D6 reduced distance rule. Could the Necrons be adapting to the Nids? Ooh. That would be interesting, because the Nids have been shown to be able to digest and break down metals. So it's one of those things where possibly, but no, this is probably them digging up their older technology and getting further down into their crypts and getting some stuff for the next wave of Necron stuff. Let's go with stuff. Next question.
Why would you wear... Oh, apologies.
Go for it.
Why would you wear high heels in combat?
All right, no joke. Go for it.
Okay. Why would you wear high heels in combat?
Mostly because a lot of people don't realize that the armors themselves in 40k are fantasy. I know. Hear me out on this. Realism doesn't matter in 40k. You have spaceships that open up interdimensional vortexes to magical space hell where gods and magic exist and pop out somewhere else in the universe. And people are going to complain about high heels.
Yes.
Like, really? Also, here's the other thing. Sororita's power armor is powered armor. It is probably putting so many drugs through... They're probably on so many actual stimulants and things like that they don't really even feel their body and are moving based on their mind itself and mind impulse units. and things of that nature. But even if they're not, to be honest, they'd probably still be kind of comfortable. It only looks like 3-inch heels. Like, those are not bad to walk in. Hell, I've gone, I think... I went an entire convention in stilettos. That was insane. Also, the vast majority of Battle Sisters model-wise are flat-footed. Even most of their artwork shows them flat-footed. I think Valerian, or whatever her name is, has high heels, and a few other artworks have high heels, but for the most part, they are generic and they are flat-footed. Okay, next one.
Why don't GW models show chest rigs and ammo vests for people using guns?
Could you imagine them actually trying to model that? Like, the amount of intricate detail that would be needed to show, like, a Space Marine actually carrying multiple clips of ammunition. Now, granted, he does keep that on belts and everything like that, and you do see it on, like, the deathwatch. But at the same time, it's just a lot to model on a miniature. Even in the story themselves. Also, in some of the stories, they have serfs that literally carry it in behind them. Like Master of Mankind, for instance. When the custodians were fighting and they were just belting out so many shots with their spears, they were throwing them backwards and having slaves, serfs, grabbing them new spears and continue firing. And those serfs would actually reload the weapons and everything. Totally not slaves.
No. Armory thralls.
Yeah, I mean, just like servitors. They're not slaves. They don't have free will.
Exactly. They're not people.
That's terrible to think about, though.
It is. But it's just 40k. It's what happens. Why don't Marines and Sisters have more artillery, besides from rockets and missiles?
Well, I mean, they do have thud weapons, and they do have Legion Basilisks. So they do have them, it's just they rarely use them, because Space Marines are shock and awe units. Shock and awe style warfare. They drop in immediately and go and take care of the target, and then get out as quickly as possible. Sisters of Battle are more foot sloggers, and will throw waves of sisters at a planet until they conquer it. And Sisters are more attuned for dealing with small demonic incursions versus actual big prolonged warfare, even though Sisters can do that. Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Yep.
Why is John and not Warboss?
Well, because I am Warboss. Next question.
Why don't neckbeards shave?
Well, you see, because they, for some reason, think that they can capture more Doritos in their beard while feeding. See, it's an adaptation that they have developed based on their hunting methods of stalking the refrigerator. It is a very key part of their essential survivability. It also has the ability to sense Mountain Dew in the immediate vicinity and allows them to locate it without actually having to use their brain cells. It's quite amazing, actually.
Next question. Yeah. Because Space Wolves get wolves, should IG have rideable T-Rexes and Meltamaidens get rideable Mecha Dragon?
Okay, first off, that's awesome. Second off, I always hated the Thunderwolf Cavalry. I thought it was kind of the silliest thing in 40k. It's like, hey, we ride giant mechanical space wolves. You what? Where were those during the thousands of years of the Horus Heresy? Shut your face. That's where they were. Oh, well, it just seems like they could have been, kind of useful. Nah, dumb. Anyway, next question.
Okay. Is the new Horus Titans game Warhammer 40k 8th edition compatible?
No. The Horus Heresy Titanicus game is going to be strictly meant for Titanicus. It's its own little sub-game. I think that's what they were talking about. I could be completely wrong. If I'm completely wrong, just redo your question and just word it a little bit better.
Would the loss of Gurleyman even be that important after he finishes his new book?
Verboot Gilliman is actually incredibly important to the Imperium at large right now because he is reformatting infrastructures and things like that, while simultaneously being one of the best military strategists the Imperium has ever had. So somebody like him actually... I have to cough and I can feel it, and that's why I'm trying to avoid it right now. Sorry about that. But Gilliman is extremely important right now. He has to finish his crusade, and after that, he's kind of taken the position of the new emperor. And this is strictly from a basic fluff perspective, not an actual, he is the emperor, deal with it, new theory, and whatever. No, he's the active leader of the Imperium right now, so he is like the emperor.
Next question?
Yep.
Are you excited for Sigmar's model in Horus Heresy?
Do what?
Are you excited for Sigmar's model in Horus Heresy? Sigmar Heldenhammer, the god, essentially, from...
Isn't that the dude that's just Conan the Barbarian?
Yes.
No. Like, 'cause that's just... Like, that's another reason why I never really liked Warhammer Fantasy. Their god is literally Conan. Like, am I the only one that's made that connection and just been like, ah, that's stupid? Anyway, next question.
I'm just turning in now from Coventry. What announcement are you most excited about?
Titanicus and Sisters. Like, I can't choose between the two. Okay, next one.
Have you accepted Zinch as our Lord and Savior yet? Remember, Slanesh and Nurgle teamed up to give us STDs.
Yeah, you know what? I'm okay with, you know... No, Zinch is a nerd. Sorry. He's a nerd. That's it. Slanesh, best god.
Would you date the Emperor?
Emperor would be a self-righteous prick who's, like, so egotistical and only wants the betterment of, like, everybody else and not himself. So he'd just be, like, going out of his way to be, like, a pompous asshole and tell people, like, what he's doing is correct. And if you don't believe him, he'd beat the shit out of you. So, yeah, I'd date him. He'd be, like, the ultimate fuckboy. I just got demonetized.
How do you feel about oiled up, mostly nude custodies?
Muscle guys aren't really my thing. I mean, if they were oiled up twinks, I think that would be kind of cute. But otherwise, meh.
Why don't more of the background lore and fluff talk about logistics and supply?
You know, I'm really... Because they want to show, like, the Imperium is this collapsing, not functional system. But at the same point, it's just like, dude, you have billions of guardsmen. You have to keep track of all of that. You have to actually have, like, regiments dedicated to training and all sorts of things. Like, I would like a book where it goes from the youth all the way through the creation of a Space Marine. And I'm talking every single bit of it. And I'm not saying, like... Sorry, I have a massive tickle in my throat right now. But I want them to, like, talk about how they actually do the implantation and everything. Because I know one YouTuber got it, like, completely wrong with the implantations because of one picture that he saw and he was an idiot. But anyway, I want them to explain, like, do they actually do blood tests on the initiates? What is the initial reaction to the changes of the body? How do these organs actually work? And even if they make up things like, well, it actually kicks in and the zygometer actually starts overclocking the muscle mass and boosting the bone structure to actually start growing. And this actually triggers the zygamajig, which actually increases its heart size and starts growing a second one. And because of this, it actually fuses together some of this part and actually allows the Space Marine to eat brains and gain knowledge and spit acid at tank treads and blow them up. I haven't mentioned that Space Marine creation is really stupid.
Speaking of eating brains, would an undead force in 40k be cool, as in zombies being risen from the dead, and it be a mix of Imperial and Xenos races?
Wow, you know it would be cool if we did that with the Eldar, Nurgle, Tyranids, Necrons. Huh. Orks. Almost like that happens all the time.
Do Melta-Maidens actually care about civilians and guardsmen around them?
Yes, they do. The Sororitas of our Order of Unmounted Lady actually go... read Faith and Fire or Red and Black. Red and Black is actually the one that I really like, where they talk about replicae, and they have a moral dilemma of treating them like slaves because they're replicant humans, they're artificial, or treating them like Imperial citizens because they act and behave like Imperial citizens. And it really shows like the internal struggle of what Sisters of Battle have to do. Where Space Marines would just kind of land and be like, oh, the replicate, blow them away. Or trap them. But this Sororitas really had to have a... It's a really good book. Read Red and Black. It's one of my favorite 40k books.
Next question.
Okay.
Now that Titanicus is coming, do you think that it will cut into Titan sales for 40k Armageddon?
No. No. Not really. I think they're going to work as a both promoting each other. Excuse me.
Why do you no play buggies? They need walk every now and then.
The reason I don't play my bugs that often is simply because I don't have a reliable way of transporting them just yet. I need to get more battle foam to actually put my Tyranids in, because as it stands right now, my current Hive Tyrants are a little bit broken up. And I keep using them for intro games to 40k because they are one of the coolest looking armies. So I tend to leave them in my shop, Games of Plunder in Copeskill, New York. And I don't really want to travel with them because they break all the time. And I'm kind of sick of trying to magnetize them, trying to repaint them, it gets annoying. And I apologize.
Why is there no new Primarch announced? It's been around 6 months since Mortarion, and who was that YouTuber?
The YouTuber's gonna remain silent. Sorry, I don't really want to start throwing shit at people. I'm actually surprised they haven't announced any new Primarchs, but I'm thinking they're gonna wait until the sales start to dip again after this announcement, because they tend to do a very consistent sales record of every time something dips, they tend to release something brand new. It goes right back up. So now we're waiting for it to dip again so that we can actually see the sale of a Primarch. It's basically about keeping interest.
What would happen if all 18 Primarchs we know about landed on modern Earth? What would happen?
I don't know. We'd probably get a really progressive Earth. We'd probably be unified as a species. We'd probably have one religion that most of the Primarchs agree on. And then that would be snuffed out by the Emperor himself, which is good. Our economy would be amazing. We'd probably have universal everything. Technology would be through the roof. We would have, like... We'd be exploring the galaxy in less than, like, a year. But then again, they're magical deity. They're magical half-deities, so...
Why are Sisters of Battle way more cool than most Space Marines?
The reason that they're cooler, in my opinion, is because they're human. Like, at the end of the day, they are human. God damn it, Toby. You jerk. Sisters of Battle really, since they're still human, they have to deal with emotional issues brought on by their surroundings and what they do. Sisters of Battle tend to deal with more heretical and internal problems versus Space Marines would deal with external problems. And the Order Malleus deals with demons, and the Order Xenos deals with the aliens. They really have to look into humans as a whole and decide whether or not to kill them. And decide which ones are deserving of being destroyed or not. So I really like Sororitas. I think their stories are much cooler and much more personal because you can relate more to them. Like, you can't really relate to an 800-pound space gorilla clad in 2,000 pounds of armor. Just can't.
Any guess how much Zinch know-how was used by the Emperor to transform regular children into near impossible space marines?
To Space Marines, probably next to nothing. I mean, the Emperor could have designed that himself. What I'm really thinking he was trying to do is gain the knowledge on how to... I don't know. Probably make the Primarchs, because he was already making the Space Marines prior to the Primarchs themselves. Next one.
All right, I was just grabbing questions. Mm-hmm. If you have read the webcomic Wolf and Sister, do you agree with Valkyries of Battle being cool?
Valkyries? Okay. The sister of, what is it? Actually, I would just call them Shield Maidens. Like, just flat out, that's what I would call them. Either Shield Maidens or Valkyries. Sisters of Battle from Fenrir? Yes, please. That would be amazing. That would be a super cool addition to 40k. Here's my Space Valkyries. By the way, they have the Space Wolves keyword, so you can ally them in without any problems at all. That would make the Space Wolves awesome, in my opinion. Like, it would just be amazing, and I would love them. I would play them in a heartbeat if they had Valkyries. Next one.
What army in 8th edition do you think needs a buff?
Inquisition.
Or which one needs...
Just
or
hands down Inquisition.
Okay. And which do you think needs a nerf?
Which needs a nerf? Well, I mean, I want to give it a couple more months to see the results of the next few tournaments before I decide what army needs a nerf. Personally, I'm not really having any trouble with any armies on the tabletop. I think Sisters of Battle are a little bit too cheap at the current moment, but I know GW is not going to FAQ them because they want to sell them. That makes perfect sense and everything to me. A lot of people might get mad, but, you know, when I roll up with five squads, 4 repressors with 3 Dominion squads inside them, and 2 Sororitas squads inside them, and just run up to your face turn 1 and melt you with melt-a-guns. Meh. Speaking of which, I'm going to redo my sister list because of that FAQ. Anyway.
Why don't Sisters of Battle deal with demons more often?
They actually do deal with demons quite a bit, but it's the Ordo Hereticus. They deal with the heretic. They try to prevent the summoning of demons, where the Ordo's Malleus actually goes against demons as a profession. It's a slim line, but yeah.
Have you seen the Hellreach movie on
No,
YouTube by Richard?
I have not yet. I have been waiting. I want to marathon the whole thing once it's done.
So, Sisters of Battle from Ball would be called Ball Arena.
That would be hilarious. Actually, what would I call Sisters of Battle that are from... Actually, wait, there was that book, Mephiston, that had the sisters in it. Alright, next question. What would I call Sisters from Ball?
Sorry, I'm just grabbing questions. Why don't Sisters of Battle air support have... Oh, wait. I already messed it up. Why don't Sisters of Battle have air support with fuel air munitions?
They actually do. Not the Thunderbolt, the Avenger Strike Fighter is their aircraft. That's one of the coolest in my opinion, and I have one, and I just need to go and pick it up. Ooh, I like this one. What is the most balanced faction in 8th edition? Space Marines. I would say just normal vanilla Space Marines are the most balanced. I mean, I think the entire game is always based around Space Marines anyway. Except for 5th edition was based around Guard. Anyway, next question.
Didn't the Emperor steal the knowledge for making the Primarchs and the Space Marines from the Techno-Barbarians?
I would need to read that, but as far as I'm concerned, no. He gained the knowledge of how to make the Primarchs from the... Well, he did a deal with the Dark Gods. We don't know what happened in that deal with the Dark Gods. And then he started making his Primarch project. So it's kind of open-ended for a reason. Okay.
Okay. Why do most Marine aircraft look awful?
The Xiphon looks cool. I mean, you're not wrong. I'm not trying to say you're wrong, because you're right. I kind of like my flying boxes.
Bricks in space.
Hey, you know, if you have a problem, hit it with a brick.
Exactly. All of us problems, bricks.
Don't like Congress? Bricks.
Particularly tough problem? More bricks. Or what was it? A Brinder Blick? Something like that.
Anyway, next question.
Do you think plastic Sisters of Battle will look like the ones that come with Celeste?
That what?
Do you think the plastic Sisters of Battle will look like the ones that come with Celeste?
Well, we got a hint at what their models could look like, but based on Greyfax, Celestine, and the Sisters of Silence, I could almost guarantee they're gonna look similar to that. So it's gonna be nice. I think they're gonna be nice. Okay.
Did you ever play Company of Heroes, and did you enjoy it?
Never played Company of Heroes, no.
That, I believe, is the final question. Yep.
Space Bricks. Oh, there's another one.
Where?
Do you think there will be more stuff on Warhammer Fest on Sunday? Hopefully. But usually Sundays and conventions are used for cleanup. So maybe. Maybe. The Valkyries are cool though. Go IG. The Valkyries are cool, the Vendettas are cooler. What minor chaos god would you want expanded into the tabletop? Absolutely none of them. I think all of the minor chaos gods are kind of lame, and I kind of hate all of them. I want Slaaneish's range expanded more. That's about it. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up today. I want to thank everybody for joining me, and if you guys are awesome, you'll check out the links in the description down below. One of them will let you like my social media. Check that out. Others, if you are super awesome, you can check out my Patreon and support the channel, keep the lights on, keep me fed, and I like food. And it's all good and everything. Also, if you support me on Patreon, you can join my Discord group where we talk about random shit and 40K. Anyway, guys, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. I love you guys. Bye.